This book was written for you, within and without. Maya's eyes, filled with the enthusiasm of light. This book is dedicated firstly to the earth, sun and moon for their natural service in the elevation of awareness, with admiration and awe of the felicitous factor and influential ingredient that no other planet in the solar system offers the perspective of two disks being exactly the same size in the periphery of sky. Secondly, why the sun and moon follow you there is inscribed to us, the conscious expansion that occurs as two ever meet for a third thing to happen, an alchemy that could have never materialized otherwise. Us, the infinite meeting itself, as infinite permutations of itself through the call to love, the call of us, the call of us, the call of us. Lastly, this story is devoted to clear vision, perception and perspective, because when we see the miracle of this moment's efflorescence clearly, all of existence is changed forever by ever, being witnessed with the inherent availability of inchoate love, manifest in consciousness as knowing, I am light of light. And without further ado, why the sun and moon follow you there. Written by Sarah Madaka, designed by Fiona. Part 1, The Phenomenal Gift. Inspiring. Chapter 1, Something that they could not decide the reason for. Once upon a time, there were two little children who, together, noticed something that they could not decide the reason for. They noticed that the sun in the day and the moon of the night followed them regardless of their momentum or direction. Because of their wonder, they awed, and because of their awe, they wondered. What was the reason for this phenomenal gift? For every reason, never fathom. What was the reason? There was one, a wish to know. For every reason ever fathomed, there was once a wish to know. Chapter 2, The Sun in the Day and the Moon of the Night. Being sure that the sun in the day and the moon of the night followed them, whether they were discovering what was left or presuming advancing right, with wonderment and awe for the skylights through which everything seen they saw, they pondered why these skylights, both marvelous in their offerings, would follow them in all their resolving bearings and onerous crossings. The wish to know is the reason for every reason, ever reasoned, and reason, the basis of everything wished to be known. Now notice, if you will, sweet brethren, conversant kin, for the moon they thought of, while for the sun they thought in, for the disappearing then reappearing frolicsome and brooding moon, and their minds abided not by the rules the sun did certainly presume. For the moon travelled furtive through some days and brazen in most nights, hiding or gleaming, revealing or concealing according to its 13 rites, amicably waxing and agreeably waning for each passage of sensation and or hopeful blithe, experiencing as the sundry passions throughout all facets of life. There was the sun in the day that only then shined bright, some days being proportionally shorter, other days suffused with more light. Although always by the day did the sun surely shine, never at night the sun or its light and time could they find. So they thought the sun to have less freedom, though its demeanour most bright and bright, because it did not modify at all as the moon did in its flight. But this was not to the children of frailty nor a sign of being slight, for the sun seemed to be the source of reflection for the lunar demure of the night. So with the sun they thought in and the moon they thought of, they set out upon dated journeys to discover the phenomenon's cause, the reason for why they were always perused and pursued by one or the other, the sun and the moon. Chapter 3. Tiny, treasure-shaped circles. Oh, how the two playful partners would impishly contrive, orchestrate and calibrate, scheme and devise myriad ways to mischievously surprise, outwit and even venture to undermine both tiny treasure-shaped circles, circling so very high, their adored sources of light extolled with ardor in the sky. But no matter how ambitiously and punctiliously they tried to bewilder the gold coin or silver disc so surmised, the small unassailable sun, which every day had begun, in the petite yet powerful moon, under whose rhythm sleep would ensue, were never a moment too late, nor ever an instant too soon, the moon always defining periods of time, the sun ever ascribing new noons. For as long as any ringed light appeared as even part of a sphere in the sky, its path was certainly their own, a gleaming guide by their sides, will always when around in their rounds shined in them inimitably bright, inexhaustibly enthusing them, tracing them with light. Never even slightly, remotely, or faintly confounded by the children's innovative trajectories, no matter however well-rounded, the children's ardent propensities only left them dumbfounded. All their nascent propositions only furthered their astoundment. For as long as their seeming streamed in any caliber of opposition to the celestial sphere's tides of a natural condition, to accompany the little children in each postured position, being the luminescence of their each and every transition, the two of the two called in Espid idle cognition. The two finally came to punctuate punctiliously suppose, after many a scuttle, oft a repose, that the tiny skylights might factually be boundlessly indefatigable, unapproachable empirically. However they'd hover, the sun and the moon were always, for as long as they were not, resting beneath the periphery of sky, up for all the two children might plot, certainly available for whatever masquerades both of them could and would rear. That much, and that much alone, my sweetest inner declaimer, was boundlessly and bountifully clear. These seraphic spheres, each with lambency, would ever bring themselves near, all places any spaces upon with wonder and awe the children might dotingly peer. Little did the two little children yet know all they were about to conspire. The biggest trick they had ever composed spawned from their shared breath's desire to discover, uncover, and create liaisons to every quality and quantity admired, through which every notion but one would eventually become expired. A prestidigitation that would hoodwink themselves until they could bamboozle or be duped no more. One that would change their entirety entirely and become this lurid folklore.